Dear students, so this is my second lecture in design and analysis of algorithms. So in this online session, we will discuss about analysis of an algorithm, analysis of an algorithm, and recursive algorithms. We will broadly discuss in this second online session lecture video. So this session we will broadly discuss about recursive algorithm concepts and performance analysis concepts in that this can be achieved through time complexity and space complexity. These topics we will discuss in this lecture more. So friends, in earlier class, we discussed about the basic concepts of algorithms. What is an algorithm? So why we are using algorithm? Where exactly we will use algorithm? So various examples, real-time examples of an algorithm we discussed in the last class, and we discussed about the specifications of an algorithm and what are the specifications of an algorithm and how to write an algorithm using pseudocode format. So pseudocode conversions also we discussed in the last class, and properties of an algorithm and characteristics of an algorithm also we will discuss in the last class. So friends, now we will talk about the recursive algorithm, performance of an algorithm, time complexity and space complexity means what, and how we can calculate a time complexity and space complexity of an algorithm will clearly discuss in this online session. So let us talk about the video lecture recursive algorithm. So friends, what is meant by recursive function? So you already studied the definition of recursive function in previous semesters. The definition of recursive function is a function can call by itself. A function can call by itself. It is called recursive function. Like that, what is meant by recursive algorithm? An algorithm can call by itself to solve a problem that is called as recursive algorithm. So the definition of a recursive algorithm is the algorithm can call by itself. An algorithm can call by itself with smaller input values and obtain the results by simply accomplishing the operations on these smaller values is known as recursive algorithm. So basically, if there is a problem, the problem can be solved. You have a problem with you, but you have been find out the solution for that problem. So once the problem with you, you need to solve the problem. So by utilizing the solutions of the problem solved can be applicable to solve the same type of problem is known as recursive function. If a problem can be solved utilizing the solutions to the smaller versions of the same type of problem is known as recursive function. So let us brief you clearly. There is a problem with you. So you need to solve the problem using some X or Y technique. If the X or Y technique, using the technique, you need to solve, you already solved the problem. So by taking the solutions of X or Y problem, you may solve the another problems of same type. You may solve another problems of same type, same manner problems. That is called as a recursive algorithms. So basically, so one of the best example for recursive algorithm is finding factorial of a given number. Finding factorial of a given number. So what is the formula for finding the factorial of a given number? Factorial of n. How to find factorial of n? Factorial of n equal to n into n minus 1 factorial. N into n minus 1 factorial. And again we are applying factorial for n minus 1. So again this can be repeated n times. A function can call by itself. It is called as a recursive function. Another best example for providing the solution using this recursive algorithm is Fibonacci series. Fibonacci series. Fibonacci series in the sense, first initially the first number is 1 and the second number is 1, and we can add the first number, the second number with the previous number. So like 1 plus 1, we will get the answer 3. Now the third value is 3. Now add third value is with the previous value. 3 plus 2, you will get 7. The same scenario will be continue till the end of the loop terminates. So this is called as a recursive algorithm or recursive function. So an algorithm can call by itself for providing the solutions of the same smaller problems is called as a recursive algorithm. Friends, this is one of the important question. You may expect one definition of recursive algorithm in university examinations. Now let us move to another important topic in design and analysis of algorithms. It is one of the familiar topic, namely performance of an analysis. Performance analysis. Friends, I already said that if you know the basic knowledge of SDLC, what is SDLC? Software Development Life Cycle. In SDLC, Software Development Life Cycle, what is the first phase? Analysis. The first phase is requirement analysis. Once requirement analysis is completed, then only you move for design analysis. Now next phase is design. After that phase, implementation or coding. After coding is done, then go for testing. So if you follow the SDLC scenario, analysis comes first, later on design will comes first, design will come second, and later implementation will come. So analysis, design, implementation. So analysis, who will do analysis, who will do design, and who will do the implementation in the sense is always the design can be done by software architect, and the development will be done by the software developer or software engineer. So in last class we discussed about the difference between algorithm and program. Always algorithm will be written at the design phase only. Once the analysis of an algorithm is over, then only we go for design of an algorithm. Once the design of an algorithm is decided by the software architect, then only we move for writing coding for the program that can be done by a software engineer. So here we will focus on performance of an analysis. Basically, the efficiency of an algorithm. If you want to test or analyze the efficiency of an algorithm, that can be done by using two factors here. The first one is time complexity, and the second one is space complexity. Using time complexity and space complexity technique, you can able to find out or measure the efficiency of an algorithm. The efficiency in the sense how fast the algorithm will work, that is called as a performance of an algorithm. Now let us move to another side. Here we will discuss about the definition of a performance analysis. So when we will do analysis, once the analysis starts, before designing the algorithm, we should analyze the algorithm. So I already said that in SDLC, first analysis comes first, later on design will come. After analysis only design comes. So before designing an algorithm, we should go for analyze the algorithm. But here the question is how to analyze the algorithm. So the performance of an algorithm can be analyzed based on the following principles. Here there are 6 different principles listed over here. So among those 6, only 2 are very important, namely time complexity and space complexity. So the first principle for measuring the performance of an algorithm is correctness. Correctness means always The algorithm check whether the algorithm will produce the correct results. If an algorithm produce the correct results, we can analyze that, we can say that, or we can conclude that the algorithm performs is very good and it is satisfying the correctness condition. So next one is while writing an algorithm. So if you want to do some modifications of earlier algorithms, it can be done very easily. That means that algorithms will be helped in writing and modifying the programs very easily. Why? Because the algorithms can be written with the help of the domain knowledge. So once the algorithm will be written by with the help of the domain knowledge, it can be boosted up for writing better programs. So algorithms will be helpful for writing better programs. So that is called as a simplicity principle. And third one is optimality. So here, so we will concentrate on two terms. The first one is optimality, and another one is feasibility. Now we will talk about feasibility. What is meant by feasibility? Feasibility in the sense, suppose if you want to solve the problem, so you may search some ways to solve the problems. So whatever the ways you have to find out to solve the problem, those ways will be considered as feasible ways. Those ways will be considered as a feasible ways. Among those feasible ways, you can select one way that is called as a best way. That best way is to be considered as a optimality. Optimality in the sense, optimality helps in finding the best possible way to solve the given problem. To solve the given problem. I will give one example for optimality and feasibility. So we can compare what is the optimality and what is feasibility. Now in this session, take an example of finding the shortest route. Finding the shortest route. In this concept, this concern, people always looking for the shortest route. If the person wants to find out the shortest route among two different cities, namely some X city or Y city, there are many paths, existing paths will be listed over there. So these listed paths will be considered as feasible solutions. Among these listed feasible solutions or feasible paths, you can select the shortest path or best path. That path is to be considered as a optimal path or best path. Always the optimal path will comes from the feasible path only. So optimal path is nothing but it should be a feasible, but it should be better among the listed feasible paths. So always optimality is concerned with the best results. And next one is readability. Readability makes code readable. So it is written in a natural language. We can easily read the coding and all. So these four we discuss now. Now we move to important terms, namely time complexity and space complexity. What is time complexity and what is space complexity is nothing but the efficiency of an algorithm can be measured by using two concepts or two factors, namely time complexity and space complexity. Now let us talk about the definition of time complexity. What is time complexity? Time complexity definition is the amount of time required, the amount of actual time required for executing an algorithm or to perform a task is known as a time complexity. Time complexity is the amount of time taken by an algorithm to execute a task. Suppose there is a task, to perform the task or to execute the task, some amount of time will be required. That amount of time can be calculated by using time complexity factor only. So the time complexity of a program is the amount of time taken to solve the problem or to function of the size as input. So to solve the problem, we always depends on calculating the time complexity of an algorithm. Based on the time complexity of an algorithm, we can conclude that the program is a good program or the program is a bad program. So if the time complexity of an algorithm is better, then the algorithm will carry out its work fast as possible. So the efficiency, the fastness of an algorithm can be measured so by calculating the time complexity of an algorithm only. Now here the question is how to do that, how to find or how to calculate the time complexity of an algorithm is the question here. So to find out the time complexity of an algorithm, let us consider some of the measures here. Always the time complexity of an algorithm will be in any one of the following measures. The first one is best case time complexity, worst case time complexity, average case time complexity, and the last one is amortized time complexity. So what is meant by best case time complexity? Best case time complexity in the sense the amount of time taken by an algorithm with minimum number of steps. To execute the task, an algorithm will take only less number of steps, less time. So if an algorithm took less time to execute the algorithm is called as a best case time complexity. If any algorithm will take large amount of time to solve the problem, that is called as a worst case time complexity of an algorithm. If an algorithm will take average amount of time to solve the given problem, in the sense that is considered as a average case time complexity. And the last one is amortized time complexity. In the sense, a sequence of operations applied to the input size averaged over time. That means that we can average the time complexity over the time, we will get the amortized time complexity of an algorithm. Now friends, let us discuss and find how to solve the time complexity with an example. We will see. Now let us move to another slide. So here, how to measure the time complexity? Now we will see. So always the time complexity can be measured in the term, we can always use T of n. T of n in the sense, finding the time complexity of an algorithm can be done by using T of n. T of n. So here the term is size of the input. Based on the size of the input, we can able to measure the time complexity of an algorithm. That means how many lines of the code is there in an algorithm, that will indicate the size of the input of an algorithm. So the running time of a program can be expressed as a function of the size of the input. The size of the input is typically denoted as n. Let us consider there are n number of lines, then only in this case the um, input size of an algorithm is n, and the time complexity of the algorithm is to be considered as T of n. The time complexity of n number of lines of a program can be considered as a T of n. Here I have given one YouTube link over here that can be help you a lot for knowing the better concepts of performance analysis or finding the time complexity of an algorithm. If you are to have free time, so you can, I always recommend you to watch that video for learning better concepts over time complexity, to measure the find out the time complexity and space complexity of an algorithm. So this video will be help you a lot. Please watch, I recommend you. Next, we will solve the time complexity of an algorithm of a given problem. Before solving, so we need to consider what are the factors affecting for calculating the time complexity of an algorithm. So already I said that the amount of time required or the amount of computer time it needs to complete a task is called as a time complexity. Here there is a formula T of P that is considered as a time complexity of a P. P is a execution time. So that is called as a compile time plus execution time. T of P equal to compile time plus execution of time. That means that how much time the algorithm will require for compiling, how much time the algorithm or program required for executing the time. So Consider a program. So the time complexity of a given program, T of P stands for time complexity of a program equal to compile time plus execution time. Let us talk about a simple example, addition of two numbers. So this is considered as a program. Now we need to find out the time complexity of the program is equal to how much time computing time is required for executing the addition of two number program, and how much compile time is required for execute for compiling the program. So here the time complexity of the program can be calculated, the sum of compile time and the execution time of addition of two number program, that is considered as the time complexity of the addition of two number program. And T of P equal to T of P of execution time. This is another formula. So later we will discuss. So here there are some rules and guidelines. They are framed. So how many times each and every instruction will be executed will be noted over here. Suppose, for example, consider an algorithm here. The algorithm heading part is there. So always the algorithm starts with the head part of an algorithm. So suppose, for example, algorithm add of a comma b. That means that algorithm is the keyword, add is the name of the algorithm, a comma b is the parameter passing. So here add is to be considered as a head part of an algorithm. So if you consider that instruction, so how many times that instruction is to be executed, the add will be executed only 0 times. Braces, open braces and close braces. So if you see any algorithm or any program, there is open brace and close brace. Meanwhile, in between the open brace and close braces, we are embedded some code. So in these scenarios, the open brace and close braces will be executing 0 times. So execution time required for open brace and close brace will took 0 times. And for expressions, so if you want to allocate memory for an expression, suppose for example a is equal to 10, assign 10 value to a, we are assigning 10 to a. In this case it will be executing only one time. If you consider any looping statements like for loop or while loop, the number of times the algorithm will work, the number of times required for executing the program or compiling the program, it will take n number of times. Why? Because the loopings are always repeating. So let us come. I have seen just you watch. You are watching one pseudocode program here. The program having some length of the code, and finally we will find out the time complexity of an algorithm. So this is a simple pseudocode algorithm. Now we will find out the time complexity of an algorithm. We will see in this video now. So the first statement is list sum of a comma n. List sum of a comma n. Algorithm name of the algorithm is list sum. List sum is the name of the algorithm, and here we are passing two parameters, namely a and n. Here a is considered as an array and n is considered as a number of elements the array can holds. So this is the header part of an algorithm. This is the header part of an algorithm. So I already said that the header part of an algorithm took how many times for executing the statement? This statement took 0 times. So the execution number of times, how many number of times this statement will be executing is, it is executing 0 number of times. So the value is 0. So this is open brace. The open brace will took 0 number of times. This open braces also took 0 number of times, and close braces also took 0 number of times. Next one is, this is an expression. Here the expression is called total equal to 0. I am assigning 0 to a variable name called total. Total equal to 0. That means this is considered as an assignment operator, an expression. Always the expression can be executed one time. Always expressions can be executed only one time. This instruction or the statement of an algorithm executed only one time. So here I mentioned that number of times this statement is executed is 1. Next we move to for loop statement. How many times the for looping statement can be executed? Always the for loop statement can be executed n number of times. For I is equal to 0 to n minus 1, that means I is equal to 0. Next I is equal to 1, I is equal to like this only. So n minus number of times this statement is to be executed. So here the number of times the statement is to be executed is n plus 1. N plus 1. Why I can say it is n plus 1 is always the for loop statement can took n number of times for executing. The for loop statement blindly simply you can say that n number of times it is executing. If the for loop is true, it is n times. If the for loop is false, it will take one more time. One more time. So that's why you can add plus 1 here. So here totally if the for loop is true n times, if the for loop is false 1 time, totally n plus 1 time the statement will take. So here I can clearly indicate that plus 1 for end false condition. When the condition is false, it will take plus 1. Next, one more expression here, sum equal to sum plus a of I. Sum equal to sum plus a of I. Here a of I is an array. A of I is an array. How many times the array can execute? It will depends on the value of I. So array execution time will depends on the value of I. So that means that it will execute n number of times. It will execute n number of times. So the number of times this statement is executed is n. And finally, return sum. We simply display. We are returning one value. That's it. How many times the value is to be written? Only once. The value is to be, the output will be written only once. So the number of times this statement is executed is 1. So now here I have been calculated how many number of times each and every statement of a pseudocode or an algorithm of instruction will be executed, will be clearly listed in this state, in this program, in this algorithm only. Now the question is how to calculate time complexity. Now how to calculate time complexity. So while you are calculating the time complexity of an algorithm or pseudocode, always you need to calculate how many number of times each and every line of instruction of a program or an algorithm can be executed, how many number of times you can clearly specify that. Here all are specified and these will be added one by one. So that means that the time complexity of the given pseudocode is the first statement is total is equal to 0, 1, 1. Here I mentioned. Next one is for loop. It will took n plus 1 times. I have been added n plus 1 to this one, 1 plus n plus 1, and the sum is equal to sum plus a of I. This will took n number of times for executing. So and again I have been add this n and the return sum. The sum will be written only one time. I have added this one to here. So 1 plus n plus 1 plus n plus 1. Now total add all these. Total is 2n plus 3. You got the answer is 2n plus 3. Once you sum all the number of times the algorithm can work, you will get 2n plus 3. Once 2n plus 3 value we get, what you will do is you simply here now ignore the constant values. Simply you can ignore the constant values of the expression 2n plus 3. So if you consider the expression 2n plus 3, what are the constant values? There are two constant values here. One is 2 is a constant value, another one is 3 is a constant value. So you simply ignore these two values. Now ignore 2 and 3. What you will get simply n, you will get 1. So now you can say you are ignoring 2 and 3 constant values. Now you will get the time complexity is equal n. So that can be simply written as order of n. That is called the time complexity of the given algorithm is order of n or big O of n. So T of n equal to time complexity of a given algorithm equal to big O of n or order of n. So this is the way of calculating the time complexity of an algorithm. Friends, I hope you understood well. So if you are not understood these concepts, So you just inform to me. So I will prepare one more video, and I will prepare more videos for providing better solutions for you. Okay. Next, we will discuss one more example how to calculate an algorithm, how to calculate the time complexity of an algorithm. So friends, here two different algorithms listed over here. Now we will see individually. We need to calculate the time complexity of an algorithm. Let us consider the first algorithm. If you consider the first algorithm, how many instructions are there? Four instructions. There are four instructions. The first instruction is algorithm heading. Algorithm heading. Algorithm is the keyword. ABC is the name of the algorithm, and A, comma B, comma C are considered as a parameter list. So this entire instruction, this entire statement is to be considered as algorithm heading. So how many times the algorithm heading part can be executed? Always the algorithm part heading can be executed 0 times. That means that this line, the line number 1 took 0 execution time. The execution time of first line is 0. And open brace and close braces, as I already said that the open brace and close brace took 0 execution time. So that's why this second line took 0 and fourth line took 0 execution time. And the leftover is third line. The third line is written A plus B into C plus A plus B minus C by A plus B plus 4 into 0. So consider this is an expression. This is an expression. So we are returning one expression value. So how many times we can return a value? Always remember that we need to return or display the value only once. So this logic, this terminology, or this statement will be executed only once. So I already mentioned here. So once you need to calculate the number of times each and every instruction of an algorithm executed, that will be listed over here. Now add all these three. 0 plus 0 plus 1 plus 0. Total is 1. You got 1. Now the expression is 1. Now what we will do? So while calculating the time complexity of an algorithm, what simply we will do? Ignore the constant values. Here, what is the constant value? The constant value is 1. Now ignore the constant value is 1. So what else remaining? Nothing is remaining. So here the time complexity of the given algorithm is 0, order of 0 or order of 1. Only 1. That is the answer, final answer. And next algorithm is, second algorithm is sum of n numbers. So algorithm sum of a comma n. So this is the algorithm heading part. Algorithm name of the algorithm is sum, and the parameter passing here a and n, two parameters we are passing. The first statement is algorithm heading part. Always we can say that algorithm heading part took 0 times for executing the statement. And the second and the seventh statements are considered instructions or statements or instructions of an algorithm two are considered as a braces, open brace and close braces. These two braces took 0 times for executing the algorithm. And third one is an expression. Always S is equal to 0. I am assigning 0 to S. This is considered an expression. Expression will took n one number of times it will be executing. And another one is for loop. Always for loop will be taking n number of times for executing. So for I is equal to 1 to n 2. So when the for loop is true, it will take n number of times. When the for loop is false, it will take one more number of times. Totally the for loop will take n plus 1. If it is true, if it is true one time, if it is false one more time. So that means that the for loop will be executing always n plus 1 times. So and another one is S is equal to S plus A of I. This is another expression. To solve the expression here, the A of I will be executing I number of times. That means n number of times. This statement is to be executing took n number of times for executing. Another one is returning one value. To always remember that if you want to return or display value, it took one number of times. Now add all the values here 0 plus 0 plus 1 plus n plus 1 plus n plus 1. Totally you get 2n plus 3. Once you got the expression 2n plus 3, what you will do immediately? Ignore the constant values. What are the constant values here? 2 and 3 are considered as a constant values. If you ignore the constant values 2 and 3 here, what else remaining? Only n. So that means that the time complexity of algorithm 2 is O of n. T of n is equal to order of n. So the answer for time complexity of algorithm 2 is order of n. Order of n. Friends, you understood these two algorithms? If it is okay, so you can go for another slide. Next. So we discussed broadly about the calculation of time complexity of an algorithm with different examples. Now let us move to another concept, namely space complexity. Space complexity. As I already said that the performance of an algorithm or the analysis of an algorithm or the efficiency of an algorithm can be measured by using two concepts, namely the first one is time complexity, second one is space complexity. Time complexity in the sense the number of times how much time is taken by an algorithm to complete the task, how much time the algorithm took to complete the task or to run the program or to execute the program, that is called as a time complexity. What is meant by space complexity? Space complexity definition is the amount of space, the amount of space or memory took an algorithm to complete a task. The amount of space or memory took an algorithm to execute the program or a algorithm is called as a space complexity. So here the definition of a space complexity is space complexity of an algorithm is the amount of memory it needed to run to complete the task. It's called as a space complexity. So while calculating the space complexity of an algorithm, you should remember one formula, fixed formula, the formula displayed over here. The space needed by an algorithm is given by using the formula. Friends, you need to remember this formula. The formula is S of P. That means that space complexity of a program. S of P stands for space complexity of the given program will be calculated using C into fixed part. C stands for constant. Here C stands for constant value into fixed part. Fixed part plus S suffix P. S suffix P into variable part. Variable part. C constant into fixed part plus variable part. Variable part means there is a possibility of vary the size of an algorithm. There is a possibility of vary the size of an algorithm. There is a possibility of fixed size of an algorithm. So what is fixed and what is variable? Let us discuss in this session only. Now here I am comparing fixed part versus variable part. Fixed part is nothing but, suppose for example, a equal to 10. I am assigning 10 is the value. That value is assigned to a variable integer is a. Int a equal 10. That means that it will occupy some memory location. Which type of memory location? Fixed memory location. 10. Int a equal to 10 means it will occupy fixed memory location. If I can say A of 10, array of 10, how much memory the array of 10 will occupy? I can't say. A of 5, how much memory the A of 5, array of 5 will took? I can't say. Why? Because it always depends on the value of 5. The value of 5 may be 0, the value of 5 may be 2, 3, 4 or n. So based on the value of I only, we can conclude that how much memory or space is required for storing the array of I. That is called variable part. In the sense, the memory space for allocating A of I is purely variable part. It may vary from 0 to n. Whereas the memory required for storing int A is equal to 10, that is a fixed part. So that means that in A is equal to 10, that is fixed part. Array of I, A of I is the variable part. Now friends, let us discuss or find the space complexity of the given algorithm in this format. How we will solve the space complexity of an algorithm? Now we will see in this format only. Okay. Here, there are three variables. In this, consider an algorithm, the first algorithm. How many variables are there? A is one variable, B is another variable, and C is another variable. Each variable, how many number of memory locations it will be took for storing is. So for storing the integer A, one memory location is required. For storing the memory location of B, it will require one variable. For storing C, it will take one memory location. That means that the variables, namely A, B, C, took only one unit of memory location for storing. So total number of storage is required for this algorithm is 3 or less than 3 only. 3 or less than 3, not more than 3. So I can conclude that the algorithm 1 will take 3 memory locations for storing the algorithms. So how we can calculate is C into fixed part. Here fixed part is 1. C means constant. C into fixed part is 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3. The answer is 3. Here there is no variable part. Why? Because there is no for loop or while loop. That's why here we can consider only the variable part. We can ignore the here we can consider the fixed part only, not variable part. Ignore the variable part. So yes, the formula here to calculate the space complexity is S of P is equal to constant into fixed part. Ignore this here. S of P equal to C into fixed part. That means that S of P equal to C into 3. That means 3 times it will be executed. C is a constant value. Ignore the constant value. So we will get 3 is the answer. And how to calculate the space complexity of an algorithm? The space complexity of second algorithm, if you consider sum of n numbers, algorithm sum of A of n. So here there are some variables, namely I comma n comma s. The variables, namely I is one variable, n is another variable, and another one more variable is s. These three are variables. These three variables occupy only one unit of memory. These three variables occupy only one unit of memory. S is equal to 0. For storing, S is equal to 0. If you want to store the variable S is equal to 0, it will occupy only one unit of memory location. And for I is equal to 1, it will also occupy one unit of memory location. And for S also, it will also, S is equal, it will also occupy only one amount of memory location only. But whereas if you consider what is A stands for? A is considered as an array. I can say here, these A is considered as a variable part. A is variable part, whereas N comma S comma I are considered as fixed part. Fixed part is one, variable part is N. Why? Because this array of N will be required n number of memory locations for storing. So for storing the variables, namely I, n, s, it will take fixed length of memory location, one unit of each, whereas the array A of I will require n number of units of memory location for storing. And totally the memory location is required for executing, for storing this algorithm number of instructions is 1 plus n, that is called n plus 1. So n plus number 1 memory locations are required for storing the space, for finding the space complexity of an algorithm. In this way, we can find out the space complexity of different algorithms, friends. Friends, we will discuss one more example for finding the space complexity of an algorithm. Now let us consider a simple example. Algorithm, name of the algorithm is ABC and XYZ are parameters. I can consider it is the heading of the algorithm. So immediately one more expression is return one expression, return some expression. Now these two lines only. Now calculate the or find out the space complexity of these two lines. How to calculate the space complexity of these two lines is we can solve easily with the help of the formula. With the help of the one formula. Here the formula is S of P equal to C plus SP. I already said that there is a formula. Yes, space complexity of given program equal to C into fixed part. C is a constant into fixed part plus S P. This is a variable part. This means that the C plus SP. S of P equal to C plus SP. C is a fixed part. S of P is a variable part. So here let us consider what are the variables are there X, Y, Z. So how much memory location is really required for storing X, Y, Z? X will take 1 unit of time, Y will take 1 unit of memory, Z will take 1 unit of memory. That means that X, Y, Z, these three variables will occupy only 1 unit of memory for storing the data in the database. So whereas there is no variable memory is required. Why? Because there is no loops, for loops or while loops. So that's why the variable memory is 0. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 total is 3. 3 plus the fixed part length is 3, whereas the variable part length is 0. 3 plus 0 equal to 3. Totally, the space complexity of the given program is 3. In this way, we can calculate the space complexity of an algorithm. Now let us move to another example for finding the space complexity of an algorithm. Consider an example sum of n numbers. So algorithm, name of the algorithm is sum. We are passing two parameters x and n. So this is an expression total is equal to 0. I am assigning for that. For this total will occupy only 1 unit of memory for storing. And for loop here there is a for loop, but the for loop will occupy n number of memory locations for storing. The for loop here it will take n number of statements for storing. Why? Because x of I, there is a statement x of I. This x of I requires n number of storage memory locations for storing the data. Total is equal total plus x of I. This is a statement. Now we will find out the space complexity of a given number by using the formula S of P equal to C plus S of P, whereas C is a fixed constant memory size, whereas S of P is a variable length memory size. If the constant memory size is how many times the total comma x and n, total x n, total will take 1 unit of time, x will take 1 unit of time, n will take 1 unit of time. Totally 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 units of time. These three are fixed. This is constant. 3 units of time is required. And what about the S of P? It is a variable memory allocation. S of P is a variable. That means that here x of I will take n number of memory locations for storing. So simply we can add these two. The first one is 3 and the C is 3 and SP value is n. Fixed is 3 and variable is n. 3 plus n. So total the time complexity, sorry, the space complexity of the given program is 3 plus n. So friends, I hope you all are well familiar with the time complexity and space complexity of finding the algorithms, any given algorithm. Hope you all doing well. Thank you, friends. We will meet in the next class. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you so much.